Good morning, everybody. It's Monday, and we're starting off the week, finishing off on the designing your China roadmap. So going into the Chinese market and upfront, prepping yourself, being proactive in making sure that you are checking off all of the action points that you need to do before actually transacting in the market, or getting them done as you are transacting in the market. So last week we were touching on 5 of the 9 superpowers, one of them being getting an education on doing business in China, the second on market research and how valuable data is to have in order to make decisions. The third is putting pen to paper and creating your strategy, creating this presentation to convince investors, board of directors that China is the market you should be going into. Then we were looking at ecosystem, developing an empowering ecosystem of individuals or China experts that can really help you push your project forward. And on Friday, we touched on evaluating your assets. So evaluating the assets that you are actually going to use in the Chinese market and making sure those assets are fully protected prior to literally launching them in the market. And today we're going to talk on superpower number 6, which for me is system processes. So what I see when companies go into the Chinese market is disorganization, complete disorganization. They haven't prepped themselves on how they physically want to do the business. So things like operational guidelines on how the company chops are going to be used, how the bank accounts are going to be used, who's going to have access to those accounts, who's going to have power of authority to sign off on contracts, what are you going to use to sign off on contracts, are you going to offer any promotional discounts, and are you going to have certain leverage points that your salespeople can utilize to make decisions on the go. You don't want to be the bottleneck in your growth in the Chinese market. And having these operational guidelines in place will first of all maintain efficiency within your organization. It will provide direction to your employees so that they can make decisions on the go as they are negotiating and as they are trying to push projects forward. These system guidelines, however you want to call them, whether it's warehouse management systems, whether it's accounting software systems, ERP systems, CRM systems, whatever you want to call them, you need to have these in place ahead of time. You need to think about the organization that is required, considering that you will not be on the ground to make decisions, to push things forward, but you will have partners or employees that are on the ground to do that for you. How are you going to give them that freedom to be able to grow the business for you without you being there? It's through these operational guidelines, through these system processes that I know nobody wants to write up, nobody wants to implement, nothing, all right? But they are invaluable documents and guidelines for everybody that is managing the China business. Now, one thing I want to highlight about these documents is that they should not be fixed in stone. If you are new to the market, you are learning about the market, and you need to have a sense of adaptation and flexibility. So when you are creating operational guidelines on giving promotional discounts, you have to give a leeway. You have to give flexibility that if something doesn't pan out, you can pivot and change that guideline, but changing it immediately so that you're giving that direction to your employees. So remember, superpower number 5 is not only just evaluating your assets and what you want to get protected, but it's actually then creating operational guidelines and system processes, not just writing them up, but implementing them so that your whole team and yourself can flow freely within the organization and that nobody becomes the bottleneck within the organization. I hope this has helped. If you're interested in learning more about designing your China roadmap, I've got a webinar tomorrow all about creating your roadmap. We're going to talk 90 minutes on all of the 9 superpowers and everything you need to do from an action standpoint to push your business forward. I will provide you the registration link up above, and I wish you a great day and see you tomorrow. Take care and goodbye.